No matter how you feel about the Charlotte Hornets, or LaMelo Ball for that fact, you cannot deny how fun they are to watch play, and simply entertaining for that fact. I mean, 8 of their first 15 games have been within 5 points, so it's a pretty good bet that you're going to get a good game no matter how they play or who they come against. It's going to go down to the wire, and should be a very fun and entertaining game to watch play out. And then on top of that, they attempt the second most 3-point shots per game of any team, nearly 45 of them per game, and then will attempt them from pretty much anywhere on the court, with that being especially true for LaMelo Ball. And then with LaMelo Ball, they have an electrifying young talent in Brandon Miller, who if you're not familiar with, you definitely should be, as he could become a really good individual player on his own, and already is too. You know, one of them might pull up from 30 feet on you on any given play, and the other one might do the same and or dunk on you too, and you decide who's who. Last night, they became the first Hornets duo to ever have 35 plus points in the same game, really telling you about the duo that this team is desperately needed for some time now, and they're only 23 and 21 years old respectively. So yeah, they have plenty of time to get better and grow together too. But with that being said, are they simply the young, erratic team that we have become used to? Or have they now found a clear direction? And what can we truly take away from what LaMelo Ball has been doing? We'll talk about it and break it all down. And to begin, I think we gotta talk about LaMelo Ball. Averaging about 29 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 7 assists per game on 43% from the field, and shooting 35% from 3 on over 12 attempts per game. Yeah, definitely has the green light to shoot from anywhere, and pretty much at any time too. Though he's no longer trying to do it all by himself anymore, or at least not all the time, with the other guy coming into play here being Brandon Miller, has quickly become a trusted teammate for LaMelo, and there have been many times I've seen LaMelo give the ball up to him without it being a direct play call for Brandon Miller, simply letting him isolate or take advantage of a mismatch, which he definitely does get plenty of when he plays with the 5 for them, and they have been doing more of that lately, and it does seem to be working for them too. Brandon Miller is coming off a 38-point game, along with a 29-point game prior to that one, and absolutely is cooking on offense right now. And between the two of them, they have a really good 2-man game working right now, between looking for each other on the court, having play calls run up for them separately or together, or to simply let them take advantage of their mismatch. And take a look at this play for example. I'm not even sure I call it a play, but more like a read and react on the court. But regardless, LaMelo is aware that Jalen Duren here is playing a heavy drop coverage. I mean, it's so bad that it kind of looks like he's playing a 2-1-2 zone. And from here, LaMelo kind of tells Grant Williams without telling him to set a back pick on Malik Beasley, the guy that's kind of matched up here with Brandon Miller. And after that, LaMelo then throws it over the top of Beasley's head to a wide open Brandon Miller, who then proceeded to knock down the 3-point shot. And how did LaMelo make that great read? Well, because he attacked Jalen Duren a drop the very play before that one. And once again, Duren gave up a 3-point shot. Here Grant Williams came up to set a pick for LaMelo, but rather than actually setting it, he slipped to the 3-point line, and with the heavy drop that Duren is in, he had absolutely no chance to get back up there. LaMelo then took advantage of that by doing a quick dribble drive, and then kicking it back out to Grant Williams for a 3. And that right there again is why he knew Brandon Miller would be open, making a great read for him, and actually looking for Brandon Miller on the court too. You can tell that he kind of looked over to him and saw that Miller would be open for 3, and quickly adjusted the play or the set that they were maybe trying to run, and made it directly for Brandon Miller in attacking Jalen Duren in that drop coverage, which again came heavily from Brandon Miller playing the 5 here. Jalen Duren sinking way too heavily into a drop is what many teams will do against them, and LaMelo and Brandon Miller together can attack that drop coverage. And simply put, LaMelo has been doing a much better job of reading defensive coverage, both for himself and for teammates too. I wouldn't say he's slowed down any in regard to making quick plays on the court or taking quick shots, but he is actually reading the defensive coverage a lot better, and that has allowed him to better get his teammates involved within their offense too. And like I said, he definitely feels more obligated to when Brandon Miller is playing like the way he has been. Up to nearly 19 points per game after his 38-point game last night, and shooting 36.8% from 3 on nearly 10 attempts per game. He can both knock down 3s and attack, plus finish above the rim, sometimes dropping a poster while doing it. But perhaps what I like about Brandon Miller the most is not only the fact that he's a very good and talented offensive player, being a good 3-point shooter, a really good ball handler for his size at about 6'9", and a talented, versatile offensive player in general, but then the fact that he's a committed and good defender as well. Not quite a great defender yet, but he does give consistent effort, being able to match up 1 through 4, and modeling his game after a really good 3&D plus wing, with that being Paul George. You know, people tend to make fun of that, or simply Paul George in general, but that's like the ultimate 3&D plus big wing to model your game after. A great 3-point shooter, a really good defender, a great ball handler for his size, being about 6'8" himself, and really changed the way that wing players operate. Both can be that star player or 1-2 option on offense, and being a really good defender and elite role player overall. That's the kind of thing that Paul George can offer your team, and maybe Brandon Miller can offer their team as well. Maybe not quite yet again, but in the future probably and hopefully, and that's really telling about the player that he could become for their team. A little bit more about his defense. Brandon Miller right now is averaging 2.2 combined blocks and steals per game, the highest on their team, and then is the only player on their team that has both a positive offensive and defensive box plus minus rating as well. And that means that he's pretty much the only two-way player on their team, so contributing on offense and defense at the same time. And between Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, they have become the foundation of this Charlotte Hornets team, and might finally be a winning formula for their team too. But even apart from them, they do have some fun players in their team as well. A guy like Trey Mann, for example, kind of looking like an Allen Iverson, both figuratively and literally, with a very deep offensive bag. Obviously not quite Allen Iverson, never will be, but a very fun player to watch nonetheless. A great dribble package, a really good 3-point shooter, and can finish around the rim in a variety of ways. After that, a guy like Moussa Diabate appears to be breaking out a little bit. A really good defender, a versatile defender on top of that, and has now become a very good and aggressive rebounder too, coming off a 16 rebound game for them, and has now collected 14 or more rebounds 3 times in their past 6 games. And then on top of that, is grabbing about 16.5 rebounds per 36-minute average. So yeah, the guy can definitely rebound. And then finally, Miles Bridges obviously can be an electrifying player for their team as well. Kind of been on and off the court lately for various reasons, but can be a really good offensive player for them, can be committed defensively, and obviously can throw down a mean poster dunk as well. Maybe he will be, or maybe he won't be a part of the future. That will kind of depend on how he meshes with LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller over the next year or so, kind of being that third option for them and growing into that role. But regardless, another talented player for their team, and no matter where you look, they have a lot of talent. It's simply not developed talent yet, but I think they finally are trending in the right direction, largely due to LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. Overall though, the Charlotte Hornets are a fun, electrifying team that, although might not be there quite yet, definitely have the pieces to be a good team, and have a lot to build off of with LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller again. With that being said though, what do you guys think? How do you feel about this Charlotte Hornets group right now, and what LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller are showing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to drop a like, hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and turn on notifications so you never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.